Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I know
Hi.
some people are still filtering in. Hi, everyone, coming in. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us here today. If you don't know who I am, my name's Bianca Bettencourt, and I am the digital news editor for Harper's Bazaar. And I'm so excited to be moderating the next panel for today, which is the Stylist Playbook, How to Get the Best Style of Your Life. I'm going to introduce all of our amazing panelists in just a minute, but as you guys are filtering in, just a couple of housekeeping notes for the panel today. We're looking about a 30-minute Q&A between me and the panelists, and then we're going to allow 10 minutes at the end for anyone in the audience who wants to ask a question. Feel free to type in any questions or comments or anything you have if you're having a tech problem in the chat box, and then we'll be sure to get to that at the end. I know everyone can see what you type in, so be careful of that. And then also, this will be recorded. So if you wanted to watch this later with a friend, if you need to review anything that was said, this will be available to everyone later. And of course, if you want to share on social media a little bit of a conversation or whatever you learned today, you can follow along at Glamhive and also tag us with the hashtag Glamhive Live, which is super awesome to follow along. And then, of course, we want to thank our sponsor really quickly for this, which is Mary Kay. So for more than 56 years, Mary Kay Incorporated has been a leading advocate for women in empowerment and entrepreneurship across the globe. And we're super grateful for their support today in helping bring to life today's programming. So without further ado, let's introduce our panelists today. We have four amazing different powerhouse stylists with us today. We have Nadine Naue, we have Shelly Carlson, Sonia Young, and Dina Sershone today. And basically how our conversation is going to flow is I have a few questions for each panelist. But if anyone feels very passionate about anything asked, totally jump in. We want this to flow as naturally as possible. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start the conversation. And the first question is going to go to Shelly. And our first question today is, how important is mixing high and low to achieving a captivating and unique look? And what are some of your best tips to getting that right?
Okay, this is a good one. This is one of my favorite tools to use. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book and most effective, mixing high and low. And when I think of high and low, the most important part is knowing what to invest in and knowing what to save on. And so the first most obvious things to invest in that I feel are probably your bags, your shoes, classic things that you will use year after year after year that really don't go out of style. Denim, coats, jackets, those are the big ticket items. So you definitely want to invest in those. And the ones you want to save on or are those trendy items. So things that maybe these trends that you're thinking about, maybe I should try this. Typically they're available at every price point. So if you want to just dip your toes in, start at a lower price point, and that would be your save. And then if you do fall in love with that trend, you can always invest in a higher price point item. And then just having fun with mixing and matching them. I feel like oftentimes if a look is all strictly high end, oftentimes it looks a little bit too overdone, a little bit too, sometimes too well put together and thought out. I prefer a more effortless chic look, and that's mixing a little high and low. And you kind of feel like you didn't try too hard, and it's part of your signature look. So that's kind of how I suggest people to kind of think about investing or saving based on the long term, and then mix and match it.
And Shelly, what would you say are some of your favorite brands to invest in or stores you love to go to find those lower end pieces?
Yeah, every brand has something they do really, really well. So for instance, a good wrap dress, you would go to DVF. For that soft slouchy bag, you would go to Bottega. So for your tote bag, go to Prada. And, you know, a stylist know where to send our clients, each brand for each specific item they're looking for to get the most bang out of their buck. And that's something we're really good at. We know exactly where to send them.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And then for the next question, Sonia, I'm going to head to you. For you, how important is it to take chances and take risk in order to achieve a really wow, amazing look?
I think it's absolutely necessary. I think when you're wanting to really express your own style, it is all up to you. It's what makes you feel good, what like really drives you to get up and get dressed. And that could be a sweatsuit with a loud pattern. That could be mixing and matching patterns. That could be just an all black look with a bright shoe. I think that it's just really important. And a lot of times clients will be like, I'm not sure. And I'm like, if you're not walking the fine line of being like best dressed or like worst dressed, I mean, I think that's like, it's a really scary line to walk, but it's a bold line to walk. And to be in fashion, I think like being bold and showing yourself, it just shows like the ultimate confidence. And I think a lot of times I have clients say, a lot of male clients that have like thought, it's a strange thing. They think about dabbling into jewelry because men's jewelry isn't like a typical thing, and they're like, I don't think I can pull off wearing a necklace or a ring. And I'm just like, if you just put it on, then you can pull it off. You know what I mean? If it fits, it works. And I think confidence is key. And I think being bold is better if that's in your active wear, your leisure wear, your evening wear. I think being bold and really pick things that speak to your soul and make you happy. Like, I mean, sometimes I look at my closet and I'm like, oh man, like I don't have anything plain, I think I have nothing plain. Everything speaks to my soul. So if that's like a rainbow fringe jacket, if that's like a black leather jacket with like graffiti writing all over it, I think I really just purchase things that make you happy.
I love that. Is there an outfit that you've ever styled a client that kind of sticks out with that ethos of when someone really wanted to take a chance and it made an amazing outfit?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like one of my first times doing a carpet with like Paris Jackson, and it was this Balmain like rhinestone jumpsuit, and it was so out of her wheelhouse. And I mean, it had to have been, I'm not exaggerating, 100 pounds. And it was like fully beaded, rainbow, gorgeous with this big cutout. And I mean, it was a bold look, and it was only really her second, I think it was at the Grammys, I think it was really her only second or third carpet. So it was bold. And I think for her, she thought, you know what I mean? You think it could go one of two ways, but it was classic. It was gorgeous. And it's like a look that I think is going to live on forever. So that was one that really kind of stands out to me.
That's beautiful. Love Paris. She's amazing.
The best.
And then Dina, we're going to head over to you. And this is one of my favorite questions to ask everyone in the world. What are the 5 things you think every woman should have in their wardrobe? And of those 5 things, which should be investment pieces?
So this is one of those situations where we all get asked that a lot. And I'm going to presume that most of the people here watching and all of us are kind of in fashion and are stylish and working towards that. So I'm going to go with the assumption that we have, like, say, the basics. Everybody has, their good blazer. Everybody has their basic, black and white tees. You have the black turtleneck. You have a good pair of jeans, right? So I would like to talk about the 5 pieces I think you would add in for more of your signature personal style, right? So how do you take all those basics and kind of make them yours or a next level? So one of the things I think everybody should have is a signature accessory. So that could come in the way of signature jewelry that you always wear, whether it's a statement necklace or like I always wear hoops, or it could come in the way of, I have a friend who doesn't wear a lot of jewelry, but she always wears scarves. So she's got something that when she goes from thing to thing to thing, you can add in that piece, and it's always kind of looks like you, and it kind of helps create a style. It could be a hat. I know stylist, she always wears this one hat, no matter what she's wearing, and you could dress it up and you can dress it down. But I think things that can kind of translate to multiple looks are really, really what helps in that situation. Another thing I think everybody should have is a great leather jacket. And again, that's a piece, if you're not into leather, it can be pleather, it can be whatever. But the ones you choose has to go along with what your style is. So for somebody, that might be a great moto jacket, right? Like people love those. But for somebody who's classic in their styling, that's going to look like maybe a leather blazer. You know, somebody who lives a more casual lifestyle, maybe that's going to be more of a soft, unlined waterfall jacket or something like that. But the thing about wearing a jacket like that, I mean, my mom wore hers into her 80s. You know, it can go any kind of style, and it really just somehow like speaks, you know, what's happening. You know, you have style right when you say it. Another thing I think is a great everyday bag. And, you know, as Shelley was saying, that's really a place you want to invest in. You know, you come and you go every day. I mean, I don't change my bag every day. I know some people do, and I kudos to you. I just don't have it in me. So you want to make sure, again, whatever this bag is, whether it's a structured bag because that's more of your look, or if you're a person who wears more soft clothes and it's a softer bag, and that's your look, invest in something that says you and works with like a good amount of your wardrobe. And that's something I think everybody should invest in. The fourth thing I think is, and this one is controversial, I get a lot of kickback from people sometimes on this, is a great belt. So some people say, well, I can't wear a belt. And I dress lots and lots of, I do TV shows, so I dress a lot of the people that come on, and it's a lot of not just the celebrities, but it's kind of everyday people. And people say I can't wear a belt, but the truth is there's really a way everybody can wear it, you know, whether it's you want to wear it on your jeans or it's something that pulls everything together, right? Wear it over a dress, wear it over a blazer. So many times I work with clients and I'm like, well, grab a belt, just belt that. And we'll make, you know, you can make a hemline shorter or longer, or like wear a sweater or a shirt hits you, right? You can like put it in and blouse it up. So that's one that some people say I can't wear, but I do say, you know, if you're longer torsoed, granted, you can wear a wider belt. If you're, you know, shorter torsoed, you're going to wear a narrower belt, but find one that works for you and do play with it. And I would say the fifth thing is a great pair of shoes that when you put on and head out the door, like you just feel amazing in. Another place I really think you should invest in. So many people, you know, I remember being raised with my mom telling me, you know, people look at your shoes first. And it's true, you know, people notice. So for me, those are the five things that I think, you know, beyond the basics that everybody should have in their, like a stylish wardrobe.
I love that you said, you know, it's not just about the obvious ones like the t-shirt, the blazer, the jeans, but the little details that make your style your own. I love that.
Thank you.
Yes. And then next, we're going to go to Nadine. And I'm going to ask you kind of like an existential style question, which I'm very excited for. You know, when it comes to someone aspiring to elevate their look, do you think it's important for them to have a personal style muse in mind? And how helpful is it being inspired by other people in order to create your personal style?
Yeah, I think it's really great to have a muse and to channel the overall vibe of a muse. But the magic really happens when you think about your lifestyle, your body shape, and, you know, channeling your muse's vibes. So I think that's really where the magic happens. And a muse really helps visualizing outfits. But the trick is how you make it your own style. And I really think that's where stylists and experts are really helpful, and they can help translate that into, you know, your client's style. But I think it helps a lot to have a muse.
Would you say you have a few personal style muses?
I always was obsessed with like, you know, like old movie stars like Audrey Hepburn, or there's a French-German one called Romy Schneider. In today's world, it's more bloggers. Like there's one I really like called Mercer 7, Monique. There are so many. Nina Sandbach, I think. She's like a Scandinavian blogger. There's so many inspiring muses out there. And it changes all the time. with my own vibe, what I'm channeling.
I love that you said, nowadays it's more so like bloggers and people we know on Instagram, because style really changed, I would say, 10 or so years ago, when these were the people who really started to inspire us, maybe a little more so than celebrities. So I love that you made that point. We're gonna go back to Shelley, and the next question is going to be, which of these statements do you agree with and why? So we have dress for your body, dress for your age, and dress for your mood.
Okay, dress for your body is number one. That's where it all begins. So when working with clients, we start with the foundation. It all begins with the right bra to build the look upon. So dressing for your body is getting you in the right bra, building from there, and really just helping you feel and look your best in your body, no matter what your shape is. And wearing what truly does accentuate your best assets, whether that's your legs, whether that's your shoulders, and finding the right silhouettes, fabrics, even styles and brands that work for your body, and really wearing those and then having those become your signature style. So dressing your body is crucial. So many women, it's not the clothes, it's not your body, oftentimes it's the clothes. And so choosing the right ones for your body is crucial.
I love that last comment, because so many women, if a certain style or a trend doesn't work for them, they want to blame their body.
It's not your body, it's the clothes. Yes.
Exactly.
And that's what we're here for. Yes, to make you feel your best in your clothes. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. And then we're going to go back to Sonia. And this question I love as well. How powerful do you think it is to utilize a vision board when you're trying to curate your wardrobe, trying to change up your style? Is that something that's a part of your personal process?
So I think on Instagram, it's really cool that they have the feature now that you can save stuff, because it makes it a lot easier to truly make a vision board. And I think that sometimes you just don't take the time for yourself. And I think it's the extra 5 minutes. It's like, when you would go to school when you were a kid, I know for me at least, like the school was my runway. I was wearing what I wanted. I was wearing like full looks to school until about my junior year. So it was one of those things that like you took that extra moment to think about what you were going to wear and what would make you feel good. So I think now with having Pinterest and, Instagram, it makes everything so easy to create a vision board and to really hone in on what you're liking. And I think also this is another way to take risks in learning what feels like you and what feels right, and kind of like testing the waters really easily with trends and fabrics and patterns and color, and you kind of just can play. And I think a vision board really will make you look at it and say, okay, I tried that, felt really good in it, tried that, ooh, I felt like a weirdo. You know what I mean? I think there's just certain ways that how to feel like yourself. And I think vision boards are a good way to kind of streamline the process of what you're wanting to try, because going shopping is really overwhelming. And so when you kind of get into that store, you kind of forget who you are and like what your look is, and you kind of get pushed by these mannequins and the window displays. And I think that you get confused on, then you're like, oh God, like, is this me? Is this not me? So you can kind of always go back to your vision board. So I highly suggest a vision board, Pinterest, Instagram. And it's also a cool way to keep track of brands you're loving at the moment.
I completely agree. I definitely use Instagram and Pinterest when I'm discovering new designers and I want to look at them. And I love that you use the word overwhelmed, because I feel like, especially since we've been in this pandemic, we're not in store shopping as much, we're online shopping. It's so easy to get overwhelmed by everything that's coming at you. So I think mood boarding is definitely a great way to pinpoint that. Dina, going back to you, a lot of people, when they think of personal stylists, they think they're only for a certain type of person, a celebrity, an actress, whoever. When do you think someone should seek professional styling help in their life if they don't fall under those categories? When do you think is the right moment, and why?
Well, there's a number of times in your life and a number of ways and a number of reasons you would work with a stylist. And I too, you know, people do think, oh, a stylist, oh, you only work with high-end clients. And it's like, no, everybody really think about, you ask your girlfriend, right? Like, does this look okay? You like, you ask your stylist, you know, you're not a stylist, but like a girlfriend who has style. What are you wearing? Does this look good? That's kind of like the same thing, but we are just hired to do that. You know, we have a different kind of eye, and that's what we do for a living. So back to kind of what you were talking about with Sonia, is one of the reasons people would work with a stylist is to get out of that overwhelm. Like, you head to your closet every day and you look at it and you have all this stuff and you don't know how to put it together. You're looking at it and you're bored. You're just kind of like, what's in there? I don't even know. So when you work with a stylist, we can kind of help you get in there and figure out like what should stay, what should go, what should be updated, things like that. And then another thing is like when you have like a transition in your life, like think about right now, so many people have transitioned from going into a workplace to sitting behind a computer all day, right? And being on Zoom calls. And when you think about it, or a lot of friends I've talked to, they're never going back. Right. So their offices have said, we're going to close. This is working just fine. We're going to stay here and do this. And the stuff that they used to wear doesn't really work anymore. So maybe some of it works, but maybe you have to work it in a new way. Maybe if, you know, you had a corporate job and you were wearing like a suit and a blouse, maybe you're taking apart the suit, wearing the blazer and like wearing it with a t-shirt now or something like that. So it's really sometimes to just reassess your life and kind of get in there and tweak some of the stuff that you're using and really help people figure out what's good for their body type if they don't know, you know, what colors look good on them if they don't know. It's really helping to like answer the question marks that you have and really help you with that frustration, because no one wants to start their day frantic, right? We want to start our day, hit our closet, grab something good, it works for where we're going, walk out the door and you feel good. And that's what I hear over and over again from people. Like, I stand in front of my closet, it's all on my bed because I'm pulling out 100 things. I don't know what to wear. And that's kind of where we can step in and just kind of make sense of it all and say, okay, these things are for you. You know, these look great. Maybe these not so much. Just edit your closet. So there's a multitude of reasons. And most of it's just, you know, like I said, working with like a girlfriend that's what we do for a living, you know?
Absolutely. And let's say you're taking on a new client and you're
Mhm.
starting a new working relationship with them. What are the first few steps you take with them if they're like, I don't know what my style is, I don't know what I like they have no clue? What are the first steps you take?
So one of the first things is we really have to figure out, what does your life look like? Like, where are you going? Who are you going with? Who are you going to see? How, you know, and like, just what does your lifestyle look like, right? Because you're not going to wear the same thing, again, going back to somebody who's corporate versus somebody who's a mom, right? So, and then we also have different parts of our lives, right? Like, so when I go to work, I dress differently than when I'm going maybe to dinner with my girlfriends. So really look at your lifestyle. And then the other thing is, you really want to look at what I call like your North Star adjectives, right? So how is it you want to feel when you show up wherever you're going, right? Do you want to feel sexy? Do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel fun? Do you want to feel edgy? And kind of think of those adjectives. How do you want to feel? And then also, how do you want the other adjectives to think about, or how do you want to be perceived? So when you're going somewhere, you know, do you want to come across as knowledgeable, or, you know, somebody approachable, or, you know, whatever that is, just think about that. And then, like I said, I call those your North Star adjectives. And when you're pulling clothes out, you're like, well, does this make me feel this way, or does this make me feel that way? And what I like to do is, back to this, again, what you talked about with Sonia, is start to go look at things that you like and put together a Pinterest board and just start pinning things you like. And I always say to people, don't judge what you're pulling, just start pinning, right? Whatever you're drawn to. And then you'll see over and over again, certain things show up, right? Now, sometimes you're going to pin things just because they're cute and it's like, where am I going in that? I'm not. I'm just going to like it and put it over there because it's pretty and I want to look at it. But other things you can go, oh, well, I'm always drawn to this certain color, or, oh, I'm always drawn to a girl with a certain kind of jean, or I'm always drawn to whatever. And you kind of start to pick those things and put them together and work that with the style, your adjectives. Does this work with that? If I wear this jacket, is it going to make me feel fun? Is it going to make me feel strong? Is it going to make me feel confident or romantic, whatever that is? And that's kind of like the first steps in figuring it out. And of course, then it goes back to, your body shape and the colors and all those things that we do then beyond that.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned, those different points. It's about how you want to feel, your lifestyle, because that kind of goes into what I want to ask you, Nadine. When someone's deciding, I want to change up my style, I want to shake it up, I want to get the best style of my life, what are the other things you have to consider? Is it more than just, lifestyle and what someone personally likes?
I feel like it's a lot about being authentic, to own your style, to be proud of it, and to embrace fashion as a way to show who you are and who you want to be. I think that's really important, that you channel where you want to be. Like, think about if you are out and about to, get a job promotion, like dress for the job you want to have, not the position you're in right now. Same with, maybe you're looking for a life partner, like dress like that, whatever you want to put out in the world, because that's what you're getting back. And also, I think a streamlined, curated closet, because you need to see what you have in order to be creative. And it sets you up for styling success when you really see what you have. I believe that. So many closets I walk in, and it's like a bomb exploded, like you can't see anything. Things are stuffed all the way in the back. And how are you going to put a good outfit together when you can't see anything? And it's all a big mess, and clothes are not in good shape, and they're covered with like plastic wrappers and all that. It's really hard to put a good outfit together. And also not make the shopping mistakes of buying the same things over and over again. So I really feel like a streamlined closet.
I love that. Important. And so I have one more question that I'm going to open up to all of you guys. But before I do that, I want to remind everyone who's here with us right now that we are opening up the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions they wanted to ask any of our panelists, now is the perfect time to drop those in, and I'll be sure to take a look at those. But before we open up the Q&A, my personal question that I want each of you guys to answer, obviously, the year 2020, the pandemic has shifted the fashion industry. It's shifted how we dressed on top of everything else. So what I really want to know from each of you is, where do you see fashion going in this next year in a post-pandemic era? How do we think women are truly going to want to dress?
I can go. I mean, comfort for sure. From shoes on up, everything is going to be about luxurious fabrics, comfort, and just, I think anything goes. It's time to break the rules and find out what works best for you and your body, and just own your own signature style, whatever that may be. There's less rules. You do you.
Totally. I agree with you. I think kind of going into this next couple of years, it's interesting already seeing this shift in fashion. I don't know if you guys have all noticed it when you're out shopping. Everything's comfortable. Everything's a set. It truly is, like you're saying, all about fabric. So, I mean, I think going into it, for me personally, like, I'm still so glad I am highly invested in shoes, because I think that, like, even with a matching set with a silk pant and a t-shirt and a jean jacket, still throwing on your favorite heel for me is like a must. Like, I went to dinner the other night and I put a heel on for the first time and I was like, wow, this just makes me feel so much better. So I think really leaning into like what makes you feel comfortable, but also still elevating your style when you feel like it. Because everyone, what I noticed is everyone was still dressed up. You know what I mean? But it was their version of dressed up. That was a t-shirt and baggy jeans, but a killer heel and a bag. That's their thing. If it was jewelry, I think it's really just figuring out like what you want your signature look to be. And I think going with it, and there's really, again, there's no rules.
Yeah, I think it's elevated casual and presenting it in a unexpected way. Hoodies with blazers, sweatpants with heels, lots of sets, which I love because you can make so many different outfits out of it, because you can wear the pants with different tops, the shirt with different bottoms. Cashmere, wool, luxurious materials, pops of color. I think everybody wants pops of colors at this point. Spring is around the corner. And I think accessories still. People are on Zoom calls, so everybody thinks more like top half versus bottom half. Yeah.
I would jump in here and kind of have to agree with everybody on this call. You know, the genie's kind of out of the bottle on comfort. Everyone's like, well, now that I've been comfortable for a year, how am I going to go put on, you know, these spiky heels, or how am I going to put on itchy fabric, or how am I going to do this? And I was just out in the stores the other day, and there is still a lot of, you know, and it's all the spring stuff coming in, and there is a lot of color for sure for the Zoom calls and stuff like that, but there's still plenty of neutrals, which personally I'm kind of over. I love them and they're beautiful, but like I want to mix it up a little. I personally too have, again, it's kind of that COVID, like I'm over it, you know? So I'm hoping that people, yes, want to be comfortable, but when we go back out into the world, that it's not this world that everybody's dressed down all the time. Because I do feel like when I have my dressed down clothes, I'm a different person than when I have my dressed up clothes. And I use clothes that way. You know, I use them to make me feel better, and which I think we all do. And that's not to say that those clothes can't be comfortable, but I do hope we get back some of that, you know, that just dressing for the day you want to have versus just dressing for the comfort, if that makes sense.
I also think quality over quantity. I definitely think like pick your pieces and go with it. I think like having 3 pairs of great pants is better than having 6 fast fashion pieces, you know? So I really think investing in pieces is absolutely key moving forward. And I also think just like fast fashion is fun to try out trends, but I really think giving the smaller brands and like the smaller boutiques really like during this time, it really will turn things around for them. And I think for yourself, you're just going to feel better in a better fabric and a better cut. And I was just having this conversation with my mom when I put on a dress, and I was like, gosh, I feel so much better in a dress that I spent $600 on versus a dress I spent $60 on, because the cut and the lines of it are just shaped to my body so much better than anything fast fashion has to offer. So quality over quantity.
And I think this past year has really changed our shopping habits too. I know for me personally, you know, people are thinking more like, if I'm going to spend the money on clothes when I have nowhere to go right now, it better be something that's going to last and is going to make me happy and make me feel fabulous. I feel like that's definitely kind of been the shopping mindset of so many people during this time, for sure. So we do have a few questions. One is for you, Sonia, from Lauren. And her question is, did you always want to be a celebrity stylist? Oh, here we go. Sorry, it switched up. Did you always want to be a celebrity stylist, or did you begin with personal clients and wardrobe management, personal shopping, etc.?
Did I always want to be a celebrity stylist? I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. So no, I didn't. I think I loved clothes and I loved fashion. And I think so I moved to LA when I was 18, and I became friends with a lot of different actors and actresses. And they always liked my style, and they would always say like, oh, like, I don't like what the stylist pulled for me. Like, you know, would you ever like want to do something? So I think also though, when I was working at a boutique when I was 16, I was like helping with the buying, and I was like, you know, picking out the clothes, and I was styling people when I was like 16. And it's always been just really second nature for me. So no, I don't think celebrity was ever my end all be all goal. And it kind of just happened. I think I was just, the stars aligned and things just worked out for me. But I mean, it's so strange doing your dream job and being like, oh gosh, like where do you go from here? But yeah, so I mean, I love it. I think celebrity styling, but yeah, absolutely start with personal shopping. Start with you know, cleaning out your friend's closet. Start with like your mom, start with anyone. All you have to do on your book is have a couple things and have a business mind. And I think you can kind of do anything you want.
Love that. And then this could be open up to anyone. We have a question from Melly, and they've said, I'm switching from acting to producing. What would be a good signature piece for me to purchase that will make me be taken seriously as a filmmaker?
A good blazer.
I was going to say that too.
A great blazer.
Mhm.
It's your confidence costume. You put it on, you can take on the world. Invest in that.
And can I add to that? And I would say absolutely that, and make this blazer, if you're going to start with one piece, make it in a neutral color that you can mix and match with a lot of things, so that you change it up, so that if you have to see the same person, you know, multiple times, it looks different every time, because that's kind of a neutral basic piece.
I also think like a good, like investing kind of in a, not like a higher price point, but like in Anina being a Veronica Beard, I think in investing in something that has a little bit more structure, like even Theory, I think it's going to take you a little bit further. So if you have the luxury of doing that, I would go there. Otherwise, like Zara has some of my favorite blazers. And I mean, no one knows the difference, but I think it's really up to you. But personally, what I like in a blazer is I like a little bit of structure in the shoulders, because I just think it ties your look together a little bit better than not having shoulder pads.
Yeah, and I feel like a good button down is very versatile. A little bit oversized. Maybe you can wear it very casual or under the blazer. I wear button downs for everything, as a beach cover up, when I want to look really smart, when I go out with a lace bra underneath, looks really sexy. I mean, you can do so many things. A good button down, not too tight, a little slightly oversized, roll up the sleeves. Yeah.
And we have another question for you, Dina, and it's from Keisha, and she's asking, how do you go about in prepping as a wardrobe stylist in media? What does your process look like?
For shows, or you mean when I'm doing shows?
Keisha, are you there? Can you let us know? I think she means when you're doing shows, for sure.
Okay, yeah. So there's kind of a little bit of a process, yes. So usually there's the host, and then that's one aspect, and then there's all the cast or the contestants or whatever that is. So the host and the celebrity, that's kind of producer notes, right? They'll say, well, we want them to have this vibe. And then I discuss with the celebrity what that is and how we can achieve that vibe, whether it's, you know, dressed up, dressed down, whatever. When I'm doing it with a bunch of people that I have never met, because that's what happens, right? So I'll get the top of the day, like 20 people come into my room, and I have like an hour to get everybody camera ready, which means they have to look good. They have to look put together. It has to work for their body. It has to be the right color. It has to be all these things. And I really don't know. Sometimes I see pictures in advance, and sometimes I don't. So what I do is I go out and I literally fill a room with clothing in all different sizes and all different shapes and colors. And truly, I do what I do for like clients as well. I have a lot of basics, right? I have a lot of all the underpinnings. I have the basic blacks, the basic neutrals, the basic everything. And then I have all these, like what I like to call personality pieces. So if somebody's, you know, I always say to my assistant, I'm like, okay, this shirt's for that guy, or this top is for that girl. And when you look at it, you know, it's like a florally, printy, whatever. It's like, that's the romantic girl, or that's that girl, right? Or there's something that's, you know, black and it's got whatever all over it, and that's that person. There's like an edgy person. So I'm really at this point guessing what I think is going to walk through my door without knowing. So I really have to overshop, get a bunch of stuff in there. And it's almost like having a mini store, you know, where I am. And then I can just see people, meet them, you know, have a really quick chat, you know, what do you do? What do you like? What do you feel? You know, what don't you like? Because that's just as important as what you do like. And then I start to play and I just kind of start pulling and trying things on.
Awesome. That sounds so fun.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Very detailed. That was her response.
I see, Keisha.
And then probably for our last question, which I think is a really important question as well, that'll open up to everyone. Isolda asked, what are your favorite brands for plus size or fashion or curvier size people?
Jasmine Chong. I think that's her name. Out of New York. She's like makes everything like I think in New York, and it's so fabulous. It's so chic and just so great. Let me double check on Instagram, but everyone else can add. Let me make sure that's her name.
And I like Eloquy, and I'm trying to think of Lafayette has a lot of nice things. It kind of depends on your price point. Marina Rinaldi has some beautiful pieces. And then there's a Universal Standard, you guys, that has like literally 0 all the way up to like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is Jasmine Chong, everybody. Great line.
My go-to denim is Good American.
Yeah.
I think they go up to 24. They have a very 0 to many sizes and the awesome fit.
I like even like some high street, to be honest, like some ASOS. I like that high street is incorporating some plus size, you know, pieces. Yeah, that's what I would say. ASOS is a good one. Topshop does some plus size as well.
Did have one more question that came in that I don't want to ignore from Akila. And her question is, what is the biggest pros and cons of being an independent stylist versus an agency represented stylist?
Okay, so I was an independent stylist for the first probably 1.5 to 2 years of my career. And it was great, but it's just taking on a whole other job. You're doing your booking, you're doing your billing, you're doing your negotiating. And for me, having an agent has been an absolute like godsend. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Yes, of course, there's a percentage and it's your clients that you brought on, but like to have someone in your corner, and if you've had a bad day, you can call and be like, oh my gosh, like this happened. I think having an agent is absolutely necessary, at least for me, because you know when you're prepping a job, you're prepping multiple jobs, and I do men and women, so everything is so different. Like everything is so different. So I think having an agent is key. You can also DM me if I didn't answer that properly.
I don't have an agent. I'm in television. Sonia does more, you know, personal and all that thing. So for me, I don't have an agent, but I just have a lot of producers, and it's just kind of like show after show. And you kind of, same thing though, your name kind of gets out there, and then people say, oh, you know, I know you did that show. Can you do this show kind of thing? So it's a little bit different. I don't really feel I need one personally. But for personal styling, you know, like for personal clients, yeah, for sure. Anybody?
Anyone?
That's fine. That's fine. Well, other than that, those are all of the questions we had come in from the Q&A, and I'm so grateful for this chat today. It was so refreshing to hear everyone's perspective and their advice. I think everything you guys said today was invaluable, and I'm sure everyone who's tuned in thinks the same. Does everyone maybe want to shout out their Instagrams if people want to get a follow? Because I know some people were kind of like asking in the chat if you guys want to shout that out real quick for everyone.
My Instagram is Notes from Nadine.
I'm Sonia Young Style.
I'm at Shelly Carlson.
And I'm DMC Styles.
All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today, the panelists, the audience, everyone. This was so amazing. I know there is a 5-minute break between now and the next session, just giving the audience a heads up for that. But other than that, thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
It was a lot of fun.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.